I like this chair, Father. Is it really a big deal with me being here? Does Katrina wish to sit here now? The many times I peeped out at the three of you having dinner, lunch, or breakfast, I have never seen Katrina seated here. You can have it if you want. Alessandra started to stand up, but as she expected, her father stopped her. If there was anyone she had complete control over, it was her father.
Sit, sit. It is only a chair, right, darling?
Desmond looked at Katrina for her to confirm it. A chair shouldn't be a big deal in a situation like this.
One more day,
he whispered.
It is not a big deal. You can remain there, Alessandra.
It pained Katrina for these words to leave her mouth. But after Desmond ignored what she told him about Kate and Alessandra, she felt useless. Her husband did not care how much their daughter was embarrassed and only saw the money he could get from Edgar in the future. Katrina was on the fence about Kate with Edgar to guarantee she would wed him, but now she was fully on board. Kate was right to steal whatever happiness Alessandra thought she owned. Katrina truly believed Alessandra was a psycho after their conversation today, and planned to send her off to a place with others like her. Marrying Alessandra off to her husband's friend would only embarrass them, as the girl lost her mind. Kate gripped her dress, angered by her mother allowing Alessandra to do as she pleased. Kate had no manners when it came to respecting her elders. She was also annoyed her father had not paid any visit to her after learning what Alessandra had done.
Your water?
James returned to the table, placing the pitcher of water Alessandra requested right in front of her. He was surprised to witness nothing had been done for where she sat. Where is the wine, James? It is not right for you to only serve one person. Kate glared at the butler. I ordered you to bring me wine, but you brought her water? Alessandra, you have become the lady of this house. Congratulations. Alessandra ignored Kate, picking up the pitcher to pour herself a glass of water. Kate would be a perfect fit for working in the court, as she enjoyed talking about a lot of nonsense.
Kate!
Desmond shushed her as he sat down at the other end of the table with Kate to his left and Katrina to his right. Unlike what he said earlier, it was not just a chair. He was meant to sit at the head of the table. What? Alessandra does not care about what I said. What did I even say wrong? Look at her. She looks more like the lady of the house than my mother. She's finally getting to do everything she ever dreamed of. Poor little Alessandra. Ow! Kate groaned as the table shook. Kate glared at her father for kicking her under the table. Why was he still holding on to the ridiculous idea of being nice to Alessandra?
Alessandra, how was your day?
Desmond asked in an attempt to change the topic. You shouldn't have stopped her. Alessandra sighed as she placed her almost empty glass of water to the side. I am not going to be comfortable with Kate pretending to be nice when I know what she's really like. I am also not comfortable with you suddenly caring about my day, Father. I would prefer if everyone just shut up. For once in my life, I agree with her. I can't pretend to be nice to her even if someone were to pay me. We should just continue as we have always been. Or you should be the only one nice to her, Father. If anything, it's your love she wants the most. She grew up with parents who didn't love her, said Kate. Alessandra's life was just a big puddle of sadness. This was what she claimed someone was jealous of? Kate covered her mouth with her hand as she snickered to avoid being kicked by her father again.
I have never hated Alessandra. How could a father hate his child? You know that I love you, right, Alessandra?
Desmond smiled, truly believing his words. If he did not love her, why else would she still be living with him when Girls her age had already married and started their own families.
I know you love me,
Alessandra replied, watching as her father's smile widened.
From what I viewed love to be as a child, you do love me. From the way you ignore me, look at me with disgust whenever I show myself to your guests by accident, how you allow others to treat me, how you think the Duke could not have fallen in love with me, that is your love. It is how you were with my mother. I can only compare it to a mother's love, but it's not like that was much better. Mother ran away, leaving me here with you. I think I've only experienced the bad kinds of love, but it is still love, right?
Ugh. Desmond didn't know how to respond to Alessandra's confession. He was certain he had treated her right by keeping her with him after all these years. Any other person would have gotten rid of her.
I have kept you sheltered here for many years. That is your duty as a father. You are meant to protect your child. Father, after the incident, you were the first one to look at me with disgust. It was you who wanted to hide me away and fed into the rumors of me being cursed, even though you knew the truth. I am sheltered here not to be protected, but for your friends to not see me,
Alessandra replied. Keeping her here was not a grand favor when she wanted nothing more than to run away and live somewhere else. Did he really think she liked being here to be tortured by his wife and daughter? If only he had stopped the rumors in the early, or at least stopped what happened to her face, then she would have long left this home and probably be married to someone by now. Katrina couldn't take any more of Alessandra crying and complaining about her life.
You are well above the age to get married. The moment you turned a woman, your father could have kicked you out, but he allowed you to stay here. His duty as a father ended when you became a woman, but you have never been grateful. Allow me to stay here? Is it not the inheritance you would have to give me should I leave that is keeping me here, Father? Give it to me and I shall leave right now.
Alessandra held out her hand for what belonged to her. When you quietly roamed the house, trying to avoid being seen, you would hear many things.
Alessandra, that's not something I can just hand over to you.
Desmond didn't like where the conversation took a turn to. He did not have Alessandra's inheritance anymore. Desmond was certain she would never leave their home. Therefore, he'd used the money as an investment for a business that failed. She wouldn't have needed the inheritance in the marriage deal he set up with a friend.
Why not? Katrina and Kate are tired of me. If you give me the money, it is more than enough for me to leave this place and never return. I might even leave town and not marry the Duke.
Alessandra continued to push for it. Kate's eyes lit up upon hearing this.
Give her the money, Father. Make her leave. It's not possible that you do not have it, right, Father? If I bring this information to the court, you could be investigated, as you are not meant to touch my inheritance. This is why he has never gotten rid of me.
Alessandra side-eyed Katrina. This was the reason Alessandra had never asked her father to let her leave. When she overheard him speaking about her inheritance being drained, Alessandra knew she couldn't just leave her family. In the end, she decided to look for a man desperate enough to marry her.
I will gather the money owed to you, Alessandra. Do not mention it to anyone, especially Edgar.
Desmond knew he would be screwed if Edgar found out about what he did. Edgar's father was one of the men who fought for children's inheritance to be protected until they either married or decided to leave their families. A large scandal in the town was what prompted this law. Alessandra's inheritance would have been her dowry for her marriage, but with her reputation, Desmond didn't think she needed it.
You didn't think anyone would ever want to marry me?
Alessandra didn't have to read his mind to know that was what he was thinking.
I will keep my mouth shut.
However, you should refrain from ever saying you were nice enough to shelter me here for so long. Understood?
Yes.
Desmond had to clear his throat after stuttering. For a moment, he feared the way Alessandra spoke to him. How did she know about the inheritance being gone? Alessandra held a card that could ruin him, should she tell the court about this. For his safety, Desmond was contemplating getting rid of her and telling the Duke she ran away.
Will Desmond be able to gather the money owed to Alessandra? Or will his secrets be exposed? What will happen to Alessandra's engagement to the Duke now that she's discovered the truth about her inheritance? How far will Kate go to sabotage Alessandra's plans and secure her own future?
Kate rolled her eyes, irritated that her father allowed such an easy opportunity to get rid of Alessandra to pass by. Father, why on earth can't you just go get the money tomorrow? Who cares if you spent it? You have plenty more to replace it. Kate didn't understand why her father was acting like he was broke these days. Did he want people to talk about him? Or, more importantly, her? Kate. Katrina tried to shush her daughter before she could upset her husband. Kate was not aware of many things going on, but it was not a good idea to make Desmond angry. Keep quiet and enjoy dinner. Do not forget, you have a lot to plan for what your father has prepared. Alessandra was curious about what Katrina was referring to. She felt like it had something to do with her, but she did not wish to ponder on it for too long. I've already started it, Mother. I've picked out the finest. Shut up! Desmond silenced Kate. If she continued to speak, Kate would no doubt spoil he was making her live with Edgar alongside Alessandra. His oldest daughter was smarter than they ever thought, and it was best to keep her out of the loop. Alessandra now confirmed there was something suspicious going on thanks to her father. They were definitely planning something, and by the end of the second day, it would be revealed. She considered two options. They were either going to find a way to cancel her engagement to Edgar, or they were going to concoct some nonsense plan to get Kate with the Duke. Alessandra didn't bother to tell the obvious fate of their plan failing. It was better to watch them sink themselves. She was relieved to see the butler returning with dinner, and Mario was right behind him with 2 plates in his hand. She could only imagine how furious Mario was for being a server.
Dinner is served,
James announced. He carefully watched as the dishes were placed in front of the family, one by one. He meant to speak with the Baron about the need for more workers. The workers were behind on the daily chores because there weren't that many of them for the number of jobs needing to be done. He had been informed of another maid fired for a ridiculous reason. If they kept this up, no one would want to come work for the family. The maid Kate fired was still here, and James was determined to keep her. He could not take on any more responsibility than he had now.
Baron, I would like to have a word.
What is it? Desmond cut into his meat, refusing to look at James.
Talk quickly, James. You know how I dislike servants talking to me at the table. Have you forgotten your place?
James was offended by the way he was spoken to, but brushed it off. As a butler and a man of low status, he was used to this treatment.
A maid was fired today by the young lady Kate. There is a lot of work to be done around the house, and until a replacement has been hired...
You fired someone, Kate? Desmond ignored the rest of what James had to say. He did not give Kate permission to be firing anyone as she pleased.
Have you lost your mind?
There goes their favorite phrase, Alessandra thought as she quietly ate her food. She was disappointed there was nothing special about eating at the table. Her bedroom would be much better than this. The fool just stood there while Alessandra threw on me. What's the point in having a personal maid who does not aid me? I told you and my mother that she was not right for the job. Thank goodness I fired her before she embarrassed me in front of my friends. Kate was angered just from imagining how Sally stood by the door. Desmond pinched the bridge of his nose. He wondered when he went wrong with Kate.
Kate, she is the daughter of a fallen household. She is the perfect person to be your personal maid, as she has had enough education before her family was doomed.
Desmond intentionally left it being cheaper to hire Sally than others. The girl was desperate to provide for her family, which was used to riches. Kate wasn't aware of Sally's background. Even better, I don't know how she could show her face after her family has lost their wealth. She should have learned from Alessandra and hid her face. I don't want someone who fell from grace beside me, she chuckled. I wasn't aware that was the type of background the girl had, Katrina said to Desmond. She agreed with Kate now that she knew this.
How many things does he hide from me? She wondered.
Desmond's usefulness was running out the more secrets he kept from Katrina. The love she forced herself to have for him was slowly disappearing now that his wealth wasn't that grand. There was no reason for her to continue having a husband.
The girl stays. James, inform her of it right away, Desmond told the butler.
He was not going to allow Katrina nor Kate to change his mind. This was practically Kate's 100th personal maid, and he was not going to let this one slip by. Father, Kate whined. She looked to her mother for help, but her mother shook her head. Very well. I shall make her quit. Kate had many ways of getting rid of someone she did not like. If Sally wanted to stay, she would have to endure what Kate sent her way. I'll take her. All three heads turned to Alessandra, now remembering there was a fourth person at the table. Alessandra was in need of a maid, someone to report to her what was being said by the workers and family members when she was not around. I am in need of a personal maid. I shouldn't wait for Edgar to provide me with one. Not my maid, Kate disagreed as if she had not been the one to fire Sally in the first place.
You are in need of a maid.
Desmond now realized this fact. Father! Kate could not believe her ears. A moment ago, he was forcing her to keep the maid, and now he was handing her off to Alessandra. I want her! You cannot give Alessandra what is mine. Can I have the girl or not? Alessandra didn't want to prolong knowing if she would be given Sally as her personal maid. As a lesson for Kate, Desmond decided to go against what she wanted.
James, tell the girl she is now Alessandra's maid.
Yes, sir.
James bowed, then went off to find the girl crying her eyes out over the loss of her job. Kate pushed her chair back, creating a skin-crawling sound at the wood chair screeching against the floor. I have nothing to say to you. Kate walked away from the table, preferring to be alone before she said something to her father she would regret.
Katrina, teach that girl some manners, said Desmond.
Katrina gripped her fork as she heard the faint sound of Alessandra laughing. Not too long ago, Alessandra told her to teach Kate manners. For her husband to do the same was embarrassing. Katrina refused to say anything to fuel Alessandra's growing ego.
Baron, a message has arrived for you.
James hurried back to the table. The Baron had warned him many times to alert him right away when this person tried contacting him.
No more interruptions, James, Desmond said as he took an envelope from James.
His eyes went wide, and his skin turned pale once he saw the name written across the back of the envelope. The message came from none other than William Lancaster, the man who wanted Alessandra.
What secrets is Desmond hiding? Will Kate succeed in getting rid of Sally? And what does William Lancaster's sudden message mean for Alessandra's future?
James, prepare the carriage for my departure.
Desmond quickly shoved the note back into the envelope after he read the contents. William was summoning him to talk about Alessandra once again. Carriage? Who is the letter from? Why are you going to someone at a time when you are meant to be eating dinner? Desmond! Katrina's words fell on deaf ears as Desmond stood up to leave.
This is more important than dinner. Take care of the house while I'm away.
Desmond left the table in a hurry to get to William. Katrina sighed, looking at the food Desmond barely touched on his plate. Kate had left the table, and now her husband, too. She enjoyed having dinner with the two of them, but now it was returned. Katrina glared at the person responsible for dinner being ruined. It is my fault, Alessandra said before Katrina could blame her for the table being so vacant. I can control Kate's feelings to make her leave, and I live a double life as the person who sent my father the letter. I do not need your sarcasm, Katrina spat. Alessandra played with a potato on her plate and said, Your eyes looked to me as the reason dinner was ruined. I thought it was only fitting I tried to make up the most stupid way I could be the one to ruin dinner. This family truly needs to learn to take accountability for their actions. Ha! Katrina scoffed. Never would she have ever imagined getting lessons from Alessandra. Then why are you pushing what happened to your face onto someone else? I never said I wasn't responsible. However, your daughter has a share of the responsibility when it comes to my face, and I will not let her forget it. I hate to ruin dinner further, but I do not wish to waste my time sitting here with you. Good night, Mother. I am not your mother, Katrina gritted her teeth. With Alessandra leaving, she was the only one left at the dinner table. Instead of leaving, Katrina took her knife and fork to start eating. I worked so hard to get a baron's attention for this kind of life. Who should I make my next move on? Katrina started to plot her next move. Meanwhile, Desmond bit his nails as his nerves increased the further he got from the house. He had no idea why William was requesting his presence so late in the night to speak about his daughter. News of Alessandra's engagement was not known to the town, therefore William could not know about it.
Why did I borrow money from William? If I ever find the man who scammed me, I swear I'll kill him on the spot. How dare anyone try to scam me?
Desmond was angered by the memory of a man who promised to triple his wealth if he invested a large sum of money into a couple of businesses. The man was nowhere to be found once he received the money, and no matter who Desmond asked about him, each person claimed to not know anyone with the name or description. The man was right not to show his face in the town, or he would be killed for what he had done.
Why has the carriage stopped?
Desmond asked when the carriage suddenly came to a halt. Looking out the window, he knew he was not at William's house as yet. Baron! A voice called, sending shivers down Desmond's body.
Why is he here?
Desmond muttered.
William has sent me to escort you in one of his carriages. You should feel honored,
The right door opened to reveal one of William's henchmen.
There is nothing wrong with my carriage, Rowan.
Desmond glared at the man. Rowan was one of William's most trusted servants. He was always sent to kill anyone William no longer wanted alive, as they were either his enemy or no longer useful.
If you continue to glare at me, I will pick your eyes out with my nails. Get out now, before I consider knocking you out and dragging you in the mud. Your pick?
Rowan grinned, revealing his golden tooth. He played with a small dagger in his hands as he waited for Desmond to make his answer.
Get out of the way.
Desmond knew he had no choice but to get out of the carriage. "Move!" In the blink of an eye, Rowan pointed the dagger at Desmond's neck.
Do not talk down to me, Baron. I do not share the same status, but I won't hesitate to kill anyone who looks down on me. If only my master would allow me to kill you. I've never gutted a Baron before."
"You demon!" Desmond shook from fear. Each time William wanted to scare him, he would always send Rowan to do the job. Rowan chuckled, pointing the dagger in another direction. He ran his fingers through the strands of his hair, the shade identical to the color of blood.
Everyone says it's my hair that makes me look like a demon. But has anyone ever seen a demon to know what they look like? Fools.
Rowan frowned. Suddenly annoyed, Desmond had not left the carriage and distracted him instead. His master wouldn't be too happy if they were late. Without a word, Rowan reached forward to get a handful of Desmond's hair and then pulled him from his seat to the muddy ground.
I told you I would drag you out.
You got mud on my boots. Rowan proceeded to rub his boots into Desmond's clothes to get rid of the mud. Desmond shoved Rowan's shoe away, refusing to be belittled by a murderer. "You cannot treat a baron this way."
This is why my master hates you. You are not only a baron, but also William Lancaster's servant. When he sends for you, your title does not mean anything. Have you forgotten he saved you from your many debts? Why is it taking so long to bring him your daughter? Silly man.
Rowan kicked Desmond in his side, causing him to tumble over in the mud.
A baron, rolling around in the mud like a dog. What a sight. If only my master was here to see this. Get up quickly, or I shall kill you for making us late,
Rowan said as he walked back to the carriage he arrived in. He looked up at the man hunched over in front of Desmond's carriage. Rowan used a special dart laced with drugs to send the coachman to sleep. It was important that no one knew William was meeting with Desmond. Desmond balled up fists, tempted to attack Rowan for what he had done, but he knew to be patient. When his deal with William would come to an end, and he would be back on his feet, Desmond would have Rowan's head. "Good things come to those who wait," he reminded himself. This phrase helped Desmond in a time of hardship, and the reward for waiting was so close he could almost taste it. Alessandra marrying William would benefit him, as Desmond had a bright idea to kill his longtime friend after land and money would be placed in Alessandra's name. It wouldn't be too hard for him to snatch them away from Alessandra and place her back into hiding afterward. The problem with the plan was Edgar. Desmond got to his feet, ignoring the mud on the clothes he paid a fortune for. If William desperately wanted Alessandra, he was the perfect tool to use to push Kate into Edgar's arms while Alessandra got married to William instead. "Things are suddenly looking up." Desmond smiled, walking up to the carriage William sent for him. He wasn't too happy about sharing it with Rowan, but, as the man said, William ordered Rowan not to kill him.
What took you so long?
Rowan yawned, due to waiting for Desmond for so long.
I will place the blame on you if he asks what happened.
Desmond refused to say anything back to Rowan and quietly sat in his seat. Unfortunately, Rowan sat opposite him, where they would be looking at each other. "Why are you smiling at me?"
I can't kill you.
What? Desmond did not understand what that had to do with his smile.
I get a tingle all over my body not being able to kill you. The feeling makes me smile. Nothing gets me more excited than someone I cannot kill. I keep thinking, what if I kill you and tell my master it was an accident?
I will be your master's father-in-law. You can never harm me. Desmond believed that was enough to keep him alive, Rowan covered his mouth with his hand to hide a devilish smile.
Is that so? I remember these very words when I killed his first wife's father. Master truly loathed the man.
As Desmond heads to meet William, he feels uneasy due to Rowan's sinister warnings. Will Desmond outsmart them or become their next victim? Meanwhile, Alessandra's engagement hangs in the balance. What will happen next?
Desmond tried his best to remain calm, refusing to show Rowan the fear he sought after. Just like everyone else, he was aware of William's father-in-law's death, but the family had been secretive about it and claimed it to be from a cold. Desmond had believed the story up until this point. Desmond knew he had done nothing to offend William to the point the man would want him dead. They were longtime friends, for goodness sake, and Desmond was handing William his daughter on a silver platter. "You will eat those words one of these days," Desmond promised the shabby man.
Tell you what, Baron, I'll help you tie me up so you can shove those words down my throat. You should know, I'm a man who enjoys pain.
Rowan licked his dry lips. "This conversation is over." Desmond no longer wished to carry on the conversation any further. He knew of Rowan to be a man with sick habits, be it with a man or woman. William was crazy for keeping such a person around, but Desmond had to admit that Rowan was loyal. No one could successfully bribe him to betray William. They couldn't figure out what William had over Rowan's head to make him this loyal.
You are an evil person, Baron,
Rowan said out of the blue. Says the murderer, and have you forgotten who you work for?
I know my master and I are evil, but you are one of those people who play dumb to what they are. What kind of a good person hands his daughter off to a man his age?
Rowan sighed.
Silence is loud,
Rowan sang as he enjoyed making Desmond feel guilty.
Maybe that's a thing in the town I know nothing about. A man like me knows nothing about high society. Do you care to enlighten me if this is a normal thing?
Are you trying to tell me not to send my daughter to William? Desmond asked.
Of course not. William wants her. Therefore he shall have her. But I was expecting a father to have principles, you know. Stop looking down on me when you are not a good person, Baron. I kill people, and you trade your daughter for money. We are evil brothers.
Rowan chuckled, stomping his feet against the floor as he found himself to be funny. He's crazy, Desmond concluded. Alessandra was saving their house by becoming William's wife. He was setting her up to be the wife of one of the richest men in the town. Duke Edgar must be playing with her feelings, as Kate was a woman more suited for him. Desmond wouldn't put it past Edgar to propose to Alessandra only to make Kate jealous, and Alessandra fall for his trick. His poor daughter.
Home sweet home.
Rowan took a deep breath to inhale the air he believed to be sweeter than anywhere else.
There's nothing like the Lancaster mansion.
He opened the carriage door before the carriage itself stopped. Desmond scurried to the other end, afraid he would fall out of the door. His heart rushed while Rowan jumped out of the carriage, laughing as if he couldn't have hurt himself. He never wanted to see Rowan again after tonight, for he could accidentally kill the both of them with his recklessness. For the first time since he had left home, Desmond felt truly relieved when the carriage stopped.
We are already late. Trust me, you do not want to upset him.
I am coming, Desmond said. He made a mental note to have the doctor visit him tomorrow to check on his heart. As Desmond exited the carriage, the gloomy atmosphere of William's mansion greeted him. It was no wonder Rowan liked the place so much. It was a place where you'd occasionally hear crows warning you to turn back. Desmond cautiously followed behind Rowan, regretting not listening to his wife telling him to stay and enjoy dinner. At least he would have eaten before William would find and kill him for not showing up. Desmond envied how grand William's house was as he entered. There was a time when he had more wealth than William, but William somehow came out on top after the years. Rowan and Desmond eventually came upon William sitting in a large chair, similar to a king's throne, at a dinner table, with the woman to his side.
I have brought the Baron to you, master,
Rowan announced their presence. Well done, old friend! William raised a glass filled with wine to Desmond. It's been so long since we had a chat. Forgive me for being unable to wait until the morning to summon you. I sent Rowan to you as a kind gesture. He does not normally escort my guests. Normally you kill them, Rowan, he chuckled. Desmond faked a laugh to remain on William's good side. The William before him right now was nothing like the person he knew in the past. It was true. Money could change anyone. William Lancaster, who was once small and shy, changed into a large, buff man after his countless hours of training. His head was covered in white hair, and so was his beard, but that did not mean you should ever underestimate him because of his age. It has been 3 days since we last spoke, Desmond said to himself. It truly has been too long, Desmond replied to William. I should thank you for helping me escape my wife tonight. I might be able to go to the red light district to relax. Is that so? Had I known this, I would have called some of the women here tonight. I understand how tough marriage can be. I've been married 2 times already, but they eventually became boring. Have a seat next to me. William pointed to the chair placed dangerously close to him. All the other chairs were spread out where guests were an arm's length apart, but this chair was right by William. If you insist. Desmond took the seat with caution. How is the wife? He asked, looking at the woman at the table. Somewhere in the house, crying her eyes out, William sighed. Desmond was now confused by the woman who sat at the table. It was so hard for him to remember what William's second wife looked like, as she was rarely seen, and there were no portraits of her around the home. William had no children, which meant this woman had to be his mistress. Why have you not brought your daughter to me, Desmond? I am not a patient man. William waved his hand, and without any words spoken, Rowan appeared by his side to hold the glass of wine instead of it being placed on the table. I was meaning to, but I ran into a problem. Duke Edgar Collins came by my home to ask for Alessandra's hand in marriage. He threatened me, and I had no choice but to agree to it. Don't worry, as I have a plan to make him marry my youngest daughter instead. Duke Edgar. William softly repeated the name with disgust. That spoiled brat is trying to steal what belongs to me. William hated Edgar from the bottom of his soul, along with Edgar's father. They were always meddling in others' affairs, implementing too many laws, and having their companions thrown into jail. Alessandra will become your wife either way. Wife? William chuckled as the words left Desmond's mouth. You misunderstood my words all this time, my friend. I do not wish to make your daughter my wife. I am a collector of many things. The rumored curse girl shall make an excellent addition to my collection of women and items. If I am bored, she shall perform as a mistress. I remember her being beautiful as a child, therefore her face cannot be that bad. Bring her to me tomorrow, said William. But Edgar, Desmond winced as William grabbed his left thigh and squeezed it.
Desmond, you have two choices since you are my friend. One, you pay me back half of the money I have already given you by tomorrow. Two, you bring me your daughter, and I will give you the rest of the money debt-free. If you cannot pay me back what I gave you by tomorrow, Rowan shall pay you a visit. What is your decision? I will bring her to you tomorrow.
Desmond made up his mind. Edgar and William were both terrifying men, but Desmond was more afraid of William at this moment as he was looking to kill him right now.
Good choice.
William released Desmond's thigh.
Stay and have some food, my good friend.
Besides the Baron, everyone else has retired for the night. Once the kitchen is cleaned up, all of you may return to your quarters. We have a lot of work to do tomorrow. Run along.
James clapped his hands, dismissing the servants he gathered in the kitchen.
Every day we have a lot of work. Have you spoken to the Baron about getting more workers? At least one more maid and person to help out in the kitchen.
Mario spoke up. He was tired of working 2 jobs, but only received 1.
I have brought it up to the Baron, and it will be further discussed in the morning. The Baron will not want to hear of it when he returns. Let's wait and see how tomorrow goes. Sally,
James called to the previously fired maid.
You are to be by Alessandra's door early in the morning.
Is there no other work I can do instead of being her maid? I can...
Stop right there.
James held up his hand, a signal he made to stop the workers from going against what he told them to do.
You should be thankful you aren't working under Kate. Matter of fact, you should be thankful to still have a job. Welcome to the real world, where you have to do things you do not like.
But there are many rumors surrounding her. How can I be her personal maid? Sally was deeply worried about her future with Alessandra. What if others start making up rumors about me? They'll say I am cursed too.
That is nothing for you to concern yourself with. Either accept Alessandra or Kate. Keep in mind that Alessandra is engaged to the Duke, and there is a possibility you will follow her to his residence until he shall hire her a personal maid he trusts. Hold out till then, and as the payment will be better,
said James. James knew Sally had come from a fallen household, so she was new to recognizing the opportunities presented to her and how to use them to her advantage. Alessandra was no longer just the Baron's daughter. She would soon become a duchess if she successfully married the Duke. It was a time to latch yourself onto Alessandra so you could follow her to the Duke's home. If he could, he would follow her in a heartbeat. But still... Sally trailed off, unsure if that was worth it. She already had many people talking about what happened to her family.
If you fail to be by her door when morning comes, I shall have you working under Kate again. Keep in mind, Kate is not happy with you. You've worked under her for a year. Do you wish to go back to her?
James knew this would persuade her. No, I'll be good with Alessandra in the morning, Sally replied.
Good.
James turned on his heel to retire now that he had checked off everything he needed to do before bed.
Why is everyone here so draining?
He rubbed his temples as he walked.
I need to find another job first, or maybe I should just quit.
James didn't care that the job wouldn't be a butler position. Anything was better than working for the Baron, as his talents were being wasted here. He was not appreciated and was overworked. In the corner of his eyes, as he was about to turn into the hallway leading to his bedroom, James thought he had seen a shadow move. But as he stared at where the shadow had been, no one seemed to be there. He blamed what he saw on how tired he was and continued to walk on.
Why is my door open?
James muttered as he found the door of his bedroom slightly opened, as if someone had been in it, and as they left, the door had not closed all the way.
Did someone steal my money? Baroness?
Hello, James. Katrina sat up from his bed. I have been waiting a long time for you to return. James didn't understand why Katrina would enter his bedroom this late into the night. He had never seen her visit the servants' quarters before.
Is there something you are in need of? I shall fetch it right away, Baroness.
Where has my husband run off to? I know you saw the name. I do not enjoy it when secrets are kept from me, James. I am a woman who must know everything. Give me the name, Katrina ordered him. James was a little fly around her husband, knowing many things she did not. James bowed his head, unable to give her an answer. The Baron made it clear he was not supposed to speak of his business to anyone, not even his own wife. You sure are loyal enough to my husband to keep your mouth shut. However, it won't do you any good to not be loyal to me. What do you think of me, James? Katrina asked, walking around the room slowly to inspect what James owned.
You are a wonderful mother and wife, Baroness. Many have spoken of your beauty.
Katrina smiled, enjoying the flattering compliments. Don't they speak of me getting with the Baron as soon as he divorced his first wife? Some spoke of me being in the picture while he was still married and questioned how quickly I became pregnant. They are all fools, aren't they?
Yes, Baroness.
Why do you think I married the Baron, James? Katrina asked another question. James was puzzled by the questions she was asking him this late in the night, when she could have waited until morning. James felt uneasy, like something bad was going to happen.
The Baron is an excellent man.
He is, but he was also wealthy. How could I not want to get with him? You might have a poor opinion of me now. That is the way the world works. I will admit I did fall in love with him afterward, but that love has faded away. I am bored, James, and I need something new. You are young, fresh, Katrina said as she caressed a flower James cared for in a vase. James wondered for a moment if Katrina was referring to him and not the flowers. He mentally slapped himself for having such a thought when referring to a married woman.
They are flowers from the garden. I'm going to have more of them planted around if you have any.
His voice trailed off when Katrina started to laugh. Are you really this innocent, James? I have caught your eyes on me many times before. It is good to know I still have my charm. Katrina ran her hand through her hair. I have the beauty to rival the queen. That is why many of the women here are jealous of me, right? James was unable to look at Katrina as he was filled with guilt and embarrassment for being caught staring at her. How could he not stare when she was a beautiful woman? However, he knew his boundaries. Katrina was a married woman and his employer. There are many men who sleep with their maids, Katrina said as she approached James. Her right hand lingered on the string tied to keep her dress from becoming loose. Then there are the women who have their butlers. This can be our little secret. She touched his chest.
It is not proper for me to do such a thing. You are married, and the Baron is a good man.
James took a step back away from her. The situation had gone from 0 to 100 quickly. It was bad enough that a married woman was alone in his room at this time, but now she was offering to have an affair with her. The Baron would have him killed if he were to know of this. Katrina remained persistent in seducing James, though he refused her advances. You are scared to be caught, but I won't tell anyone if you don't. I'll also be in trouble if word of this gets out. Give me this one night to change your mind. She started to untie the knot.
I cannot.
James refused her again and turned around to leave, but as he did so, he found a maid standing by the door. He had been so caught up in what Katrina was doing that he hadn't noticed anyone arriving or the door still being open. Katrina sighed, annoyed James didn't think with his penis rather than his brain.
Why couldn't you just have accepted the offer, James? You will make things so much more difficult for yourself. You saw the whole thing, right?
Yes, Baroness, the maid replied. James looked back and forth between the maid and Katrina. Only now did he remember this was Katrina's personal maid.
I rejected you.
I saw you try to take advantage of the Baroness while her husband was away, the maid proclaimed as loudly as she could.
You?
James was in disbelief such a claim could be made when Katrina was the one coming on to him.
Baroness,
He begged Katrina to clear this up.
I am alone and defenseless in my home, with my husband gone and only my daughter here. My butler tried to take advantage of me, threatening to kill me if I didn't follow him to his room. Thank goodness my maid was around and saved me in time before something could happen.
Katrina's eyes filled with tears.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.